This community interview is made possible by Shaw and Associates.
I'm Dave Shaw, President and CEO of Shaw and Associates. For over 70 years, Shaw and Associates has been your trusted experts for wealth management, tax, accounting, and payroll. We change lives and inspire true wealth, one person, one family, one business at a time. Shaw and Associates is a wealth management investment firm that specializes in taxes, serving as a fiduciary, putting your interests first. You can find more information or schedule an appointment by calling 530-674-1150 or on the web at shawassociatesinc.com. Shaw and Associates is proud to support community radio.
Well, good morning, Yuba, Sutter, and this morning, this is going to be really good because I have David Reed, David Coe, and I'm David Fish. And so
You're making that up.
David isn't in my name. Roberto Antonio Fischetti.
Molto bene.
There's no David in
Manja. Can we talk with our hands?
We can. That's a good thing.
Well,
David, always good to see you.
Oh, likewise.
You crack me up.
What did I do?
Let me tell you something. If you want to get involved in the community and you're feeling rather artistic in anything, I don't care if you know how to make things out of old shoes, right?
Sure.
So David Reed's a guy, and I say this because every time David comes in, I wish you guys could see this. I'm not on it. Hold that up.
I bring notes.
He comes with two pages of stuff happening, and I have to make a public apology to David because because David invited me over and over again to get down to the Sutter Theater, and the only time I went was to see the Tuba Christmas thing, which was amazing. I have to tell you, who would think that tubas could do that? It was awesome, right?
It's been going on for like 50 years or so.
Oh, yeah. Or at least.
But you invited me to be a judge for
the Rotary Speech Contest.
Contest.
Thank you.
So I got to go in. I got to see all the work you guys have done in there. Amazing place. And got to see that you guys are, you took me in the back, and it's like that is going to be awesome. So you guys are still raising funds to finish the back half of the Sutter Theater. But
trying to finish up the architectural drawings and the engineering, because people walk in and they go, wow, this is cool. They don't realize, you look at the outside of that building, it's a block long. So we've got that front half, but that back half will be that other 300-seat theater once it's done. So it'll be a real performance center. Well, you perform there all the time.
This is going to be great. This is going to be great. So anyway, thank you for inviting me, and I apologize for taking so long to go, but
try to come to the big band concert.
I have stuff all the time.
My friend David Coe's here. I just, people
Hi,
get tired
David.
of seeing me.
How you doing?
So we were talking a little bit off air, and you're a bit of a jazz fan.
I'm a big-time jazz fan.
Yeah, and it's like there's jazz that is beyond me. It's very complicated, complex, right? And if you don't have an ear for that, you miss all the great nuances and stuff in it. So I'm probably more of a popular jazz, easy jazz, right, kind of guy. But man, there's new artists coming out all the time.
All the time, yeah. And jazz is such a broad term because it stretches from everything from early Dixieland style traditional jazz all the way through stuff that sounds like, there's no rules at all. And so
Charlie Mingus. And
well,
some of that.
not beyond Mingus.
Beyond that?
Some of the Ornette Coleman and things Anthony Braxton. Pretty wild stuff. And it's like anything else in life. If you haven't been exposed to it, it's hard to appreciate because it just sounds unfamiliar, and that's basically the only impression you get. But once you start listening or playing or whatever, the more you learn, it's an amazing genre. It really is, and it's the great players are geniuses, just like the great classical composers or the virtuosos in any other field of music. So
absolutely,
I tell people there will always be a place for that 3-chord melody.
Well, that's
because there's always a new group whose ear is not. Right, you know what I mean, and so they're attracted to that. People say, "Well, how did that song make it?" Well, because it's got 3 chords, and they can hear it, and they can relate to it.
And, the 12-bar blues is a format that has been used probably a million times in jazz, and it's the same formula every time. But unlimited creativity laid over the top of it. So
variations, yeah, on a theme, right, so to speak.
Yeah.
And the chord structures of things. There's one of my favorite funny YouTube videos is a video called the Pachelbel Rant, and this guy talks about the Pachelbel canon, which is a beautiful piece of music, from the Baroque period that was played so much that it became a cliche.
Yes.
And which is a shame because it's really a beautiful piece of music. But the chord structure, he talks about how this piece haunts him and follows him through life, and he plays excerpts of song after song after song that is all based on the same chord progression that the Pachelbel canon used. And you know, if you didn't hear it, you wouldn't go, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. You know, and anyway, it's very funny, but it's also kind of eye-opening as to this is something that was written, you know, in the 1600s or something like that, and it's just still in use today as a chord progression by pop artists. So
I love that when they take classics like that and recycle them and reinvent them, reimagine them. Mm-hmm. And
I played in a band in the 70s. I referred to that as the Baroque period too.
Yes. Well, yeah.
How do you spell that?
B-R-O-K-E.
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of money in it, but it was fun, right?
Good.
You know,
As long as you had fun.
and it's like so. But you play a little of everything, musician-wise. So you must love this broad spectrum of music.
He shows up everywhere. I mean, you've been in the big band, Yuba Sutter big band, I think, since the beginning.
I started with them, but I had some conflicts, and so I didn't become an official member immediately. But I was the go-to sub, so every time somebody in the sax section couldn't make a rehearsal or a gig or whatever, I ended up playing. So I played, several different chairs, bari sax, tenor sax, alto sax, and right now I'm playing. And then about a year and a half ago or so, they had a chair that needed to be filled. Our current lead alto player is a very talented saxophone player named James Loman, who was an administrator, school administrator now.
We've had James in here. I didn't know that. He plays sax?
He plays sax. He's a fabulous sax player. And I've known him since he was just a high school kid. He went to Wheatland High School,
which is where did you teach? Wheatland High School?
I taught the last 16 years of my career was in Plumas Lake, and then prior to that I was at Franklin School, outside of town, outside of Yuba City, and that's actually where James Loman is currently the administrator out there, which is kind of funny for me. But so anyway, James, for various reasons, withdrew from the band for a while, and they called me and asked me if I would take over that seat, which was lead alto, and I think I did a pretty decent job, but James I'll be the first to admit that James does a better job in that chair than I do, and about that time, the person who was leading the band was Becky Stewart, and she first she was leaving because she was going to get her master's and doctorate, or maybe she already has a master's. Anyway, was going to get her doctorate in Arizona. Yeah. And then she found out she was pregnant, so that changed her plans a little bit. But she was playing bari sax, and she withdrew from the band because of complicated reasons. And so I told Scott Zoich, who's the new leader after Becky left, that if we could get James to come back for lead alto, that I would be tickled pink to take over the bari chair, which Becky was vacating, and so that's where I'm at now. Yeah, and baritone sax is kind of a kick in the pants to play. You get if it's a funk or rock chart, get to kick the band in the ass, all the time. And if it's jazz, then it's a great instrument to improvise on. So. It's just a lot of fun to play.
I always enjoyed horn music, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, I've always loved that. It's just been part of music. I grew up, I loved old school soul, right? And so, man, they always had, great parts, saxophone. And then my son told me, he said, hey, Dad, you need to watch this band on YouTube. And I said, who is it? He said, well, he said they play Chicago and other horn music, so you'll love them. It's Lenoid and Friends.
I've seen them a couple times.
Yeah, and so he took me down to the Crest to see them. It blew me out of the water. These people are
What's
over
the
the
name
top.
of the group?
Leonid and Friends.
Yeah,
Wow.
they're out of Russia.
They're out,
wow.
Russia and Ukraine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So,
And they got a couple of girl singers now, and they will be playing at the Hard Rock in November.
Oh.
So I've told people, you need to go to this
Yeah.
because you won't believe it. But they do, one of my favorite songs is Ides of March Vehicle. And they do that. And then they do Tower of Power, Chicago, Earth, Wind, and Fire. So anything with horns.
With a Russian accent, huh?
Yeah, well, they did, but the guys are getting better. I've heard a recent video where their English is getting better, but it's funny because they have one guy that actually speaks English. So he'll do the upfront, what do you call it, the MC.
MC,
Cool.
yeah. That's one of their sax players, right?
I think so.
He's kind of a goofball, too. I really
Oh,
like...
he's the one dancing around.
I like listening to them, but I hate watching them.
Yeah.
It's just a little too goofy for me. It's shouldn't be a comedy routine when you got that much music talent.
Oh my gosh! Well, that's kind of the thing. I'm thinking you guys don't need to dance. You don't need to put on a show. Your skill set is your show. You're that good. So
Fun. I gotta look for
anyway.
them.
Yeah.
Nice.
So
Well,
you got a big band event coming up though
On April
here
18th,
locally.
we're going to be at the Sutter Theater on April 18th.
Oh, I know that place.
yeah, you do. You do.
And David, he's been caught in there a couple of times, So he's very familiar with
Oh
it.
yeah,
of
no,
course.
it's a fantastic ensemble. We were talking before we went on about. I grew up with a bunch of musicians in L.A. and we'd go off to Disneyland for big band night, and got to see Count Basie, Charlie Barnett, Lionel Hampton, just these incredible musicians. So that big band thing has always been near and dear to my heart. So, but this guy is like, he's in the big band, and then I go to the Yuba Sutter Symphony concert 2 weekends ago, and of course there he is playing there. He's all tuxed up, and, and he's in.
What did you tell him? You clean up nice, David.
I've been told that before. Probably distressingly often. You clean up pretty good.
Hey,
What's the implication here?
And then that great little jazz group that you and Jim Achilles.
Oh yeah,
Idle Fret. Idle Fret. I just love that name.
That's been one of my favorite things to do.
I hope you guys can do that again. So he's just like a regular musical renaissance man. Yeah.
David, you actually play more than one instrument, correct? I mean, other than winds, you play.
I hear you have quite a collection.
I do. I have a huge collection of instruments, but everything from Serpent and Overclyde to Civil War period, over-the-shoulder cornets to just stuff. And somebody asked me one time how many clarinets I own, and I stopped and thought about it. And I said something in the neighborhood of 30.
No way.
As long as you have less clarinets than your wife has shoes, you're still good.
I'm not sure I can claim that because my wife is one of the sweetest people on the planet, but she's not a clothes horse. So so I'm very fortunate in multiple areas. With
room in the closet for other clarinets.
She spends her the things that we have to budget for her is stuff for the kitchen. She's the world's most dedicated cookie baker. As well as almost any other type of baked good, except she does not do donuts. That's where she draws the line.
That's a specialty, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
So of the music, David, since you've played all the different ones, so to me, big band is just I think of the movies where they had big bands in them. You'd always have this one lead singer that'd come out, of course, like Frank Sinatra and other wonderful Italian men. But right, and so, but sometimes you miss the band because they bring out these great singers with them, and unless you listen, you don't realize. Listen how great that music has a lot to do with why that singer sounds that good.
Well, of course. Big band music with singers and big band music without singers is almost like two separate genres. But we, with the Yuba Sutter Big Band, we have had a series of talented singers sing with us. Currently, the two people who are singing are Jim Achilles, who we talked about a minute ago, who's a great vocalist as well as a talented trombone player, and which he doesn't do with the big band now, but he's the guitarist for the big band. He's a fantastic jazz guitarist. And the other singer we have is Gay Galvin, who's our piano player, and she's
also met Gay. I think you had him in here. Had her in here.
Yeah, Gay and Tom Galvin.
Tom's her husband. He isn't involved with the big band, except he comes to the barbecues. And he comes to every concert.
And
of course,
him.
He's a very talented.
That's a smart guy.
We used to have the Saturday show with Joe Moy.
Yeah.
All about the arts. Yeah.
Tom's a great guitar player and songwriter, and does political satire with his music and does YouTube videos with that, and very, very talented guy and a good guy. But as far as playing which instruments, I'm a reed guy. I play all the different saxophones and clarinet and a little bit of bassoon now, but don't. That's a relatively new thing for me. Dear friend of mine, Doug Jokes, who's a very talented saxophone and oboe player primarily, has also branched out into bassoon and was doing very well with that. And so he actually gave me a bassoon about the time the pandemic started, and for a kind of a pandemic project to keep me from slitting my throat or blow my brains out. I started teaching myself to play bassoon without any lessons or anything like that, but you got YouTube and people to call and ask advice, and Doug gave me some pointers.
Oh, very cool.
Then I recently bought another bassoon, which is much better than the one I had, although the other one was a spectacular deal for the price. And so I returned that to Doug with thanks. And,
is Heckle still around?
Heckle is still making bassoons. I read not
college roommate
long
of mine
ago
played bassoon, and he had a Heckle. It was pretty fancy.
The Heckle is if you want to buy a Heckle and you want to buy a new one from the company, supposedly the purchase price at this point is $70,000.
Wow!
Oh my God!
The lead time for when you place the order versus when it's delivered is 20 years.
No.
Wow.
So I guess you buy them for your kids or something.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I was just name dropping, you know, but yeah, he had the Heckle.
Well, I could order one. I'd be 95 when I got it.
Hey, let me just mention a couple other things. So, by all means, come to the big band concert. I mean, if you love that Great American Songbook, jumping at the the Woodside, 1 o'clock jump, String of Pearls, In the Mood. I mean, it's going to be, the band really does swing. It don't mean a thing if they ain't got that swing, and they got it. So
we'll also be playing a couple of Herbie Hancock tunes.
Yep.
And the arrangements of those have a little bit of a rock flavor to them. So it's a pretty. There's a lot of different styles of music that will be included in this program.
Oh, incredible!
We're leaning a little heavier in this program on Count Basie and Stan Kenton. So those bands from the past are a source of fantastic material, and we're adding to the book all the time. So
you'll know so many of the tunes and maybe learn about a couple of new ones. Every spring, something else that we do is host a number of student art shows. So we've got 2 coming up this month, Marysville High School and Yuba City High School, where we bring them into the gallery. I mean, you can hang art all over the schools, and that's great, but we love to get the students and the teachers to get their art, bring it into one of our galleries, like at the Sutter Theater. Actually, we're using that back theater that's undeveloped, kind of with easels, using that as a pop-up art gallery. And it's just so cool. Then we have, refreshments. The kids come in with their parents, their families, and the teachers, and they get to kind of, celebrate their artistic accomplishments. So watch for those. Are free events. Just go to the website, yubasutterarts.org, and come see some student artwork that'll really just, I think knock your socks off. Really, really impressive work. I also wanted to mention on behalf of our friends at the AAUW, do you know them? The American Association of University Women, doing their annual garden tour. And it's a cool thing because when you buy your ticket, you don't know where you're going until you get your ticket. Then you get the addresses of all the cool gardens in the community. We were on the list a couple of years ago. But then there's an artist at each of those locations. So, and this is like, gosh, just a kind of a who's who of local artistic talent. Ronnie Bechtel, who does sea glass art, Barbara Brown, an artist, gallery owner, Claudia Buchanan, who does textile and paint, Terry Foley, painting and handmade wreaths, Cynthia Fontaine does collage work, Leslie Greenitz is going to be showing some of her watercolors, Sherry Hoon, also watercolors and pastels, Nikki Pearson, handmade ceramics, Michael Fennessy, and Myra Ramos Chavez, who's actually now working with us, with Abby and me, and she does. They're doing stained and fused glass. Patricia, do you know them?
Mike Fennessy is a stained glass artist.
Yeah,
I didn't realize that. He's a musician.
Oh,
He's a retired band teacher from Colusa. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he's out in Colusa.
Yeah, so he.
I'll be darned.
He was the band teacher at the high school there for many years, and very active in the statewide music educators organization. And he plays currently in the Yuba Sutter Symphony and the Yuba College concert band. He's a French horn player.
Wow.
So
who knew?
Multi-talented.
I know. Say all these folks. Patricia Sandor doing pottery, Linda Trudgeon watercolors, and Leslie Williams fused glass. So look it up online, AAUW, and get your tickets and go out and see some beautiful gardens and meet some great artists showing their work at these special places. So, as usual, lots going on. More than we
I'm
can
telling you, it's
cover.
always the 2-page thing.
I know, right?
Stuff going on. It's like, yeah, I love the Yuba Sutter area because there's something for everybody.
There's nothing to do here, Fish.
Oh yeah,
you know that old hackney.
Was it when the Rand McNally?
Places Rated Almanac.
Places Rated Almanac. They said Yuba Sutter was the worst place in the United States, and the reason was it had no public transit. So then they interviewed the guy at Yuba Sutter Transit. He says, "I don't understand. The buses were there last night when I went home."
Yeah.
And then they said, "Well, there's no health care facilities at all." It turns out they had. The only way they would count a healthcare facility is if it was a teaching hospital. So, that doesn't seem like it should be the criteria for whether it exists or not.
Yes.
And on and on.
Yeah.
So.
Well, we got an in and out now, so I don't want to hear it.
Hey,
if
Dutch Bros.
Dutch Bros. If you got crossed palm trees, then you're
that's right.
You're in.
Right.
You're in.
All we need now is a Trader Joe's. Everybody wants Trader Joe's.
Not me. I want a Chick-fil-A. My wife wants a Chick-fil-A or an Arby's. She has her,
We don't have that, do we?
No,
we don't. Wow.
No.
Yeah, so lots happening. Just get out, find it, and whatever you're interested in. But there's just so many great things happening, and we're just excited to be part of it. It's just a great art and culture ecosystem here, and we're working on trying to create a Yuba County museum. Have you heard about that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I've got a presentation tomorrow morning. I'm trying to help out with that project. Maybe the Packard Library, if we can work that deal.
That would be good.
Wouldn't that be an amazing museum? Just like in Petaluma, San Luis Obispo, where they've taken their old Carnegie libraries, converted them to not just museums, but actual cultural centers where they do events. That's the key. It's not just going and looking at stuff on the wall. Just like what Molly does at the Sutter County Museum. I mean, there's so much going on there with the garden, concerts, lectures. It's not just, all right, well, this is interesting, but really bringing it to life with some events. So I'm working on that as well. And new public art projects. We're going to do something called Neon Alley. I got a grant from the National Endowment for the Arts. We, for various reasons, we, the Arts Council, own the old Spur and Town Pump neon signs. They were closed before, right next to the Sutter Theater. I guess were those bars, and they were gone before I got here.
You missed some. I mean,
I heard they were rather colorful.
Louis Lucci at the Spur, at the piano bar.
Really?
Yeah.
Was that true?
That was there was a.
Could have been fun.
It was a unique experience.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it at that.
Had a lot of local flavor.
I've got those signs. They're like huge 7-foot signs. So the idea is just down Plymouth Street, there's that little corridor that goes to the back parking lot. It's next to Celestino's, right between Celestino's and Creative Interiors, which is reopening. And on those 2 walls, we did one big mural, a giant portrait, but we're going to finish murals on both sides, and then we're going to hang those refurbished neon signs.
Cool.
And hopefully get a few others. The
Oh, that's cool.
And Guys and Dolls Billiards, I'm hoping to acquire a few more. And so it becomes this kind of, little nostalgia walk as you're going back to your car. And so anyway, but we got the funding for that. That's called Neon Alley. So that'll be
Come on,
happening.
I like that.
Sounds like the name of a band.
I know, right? Neon Alley.
In my phone, I've got a list of all the great band names that come up just from conversation. Somebody will say, "That'd be a great name for a band." You put it in your phone and under the list.
Very cool.
I once was with some fellow musicians at like 3 o'clock in the morning. We were trying to come up with a name. It will never be mentioned from my lips. It's like you come up. Oh, it's like what? You know what I mean? It sounded at the time
like
3 o'clock in the morning. Oh yeah, that's it. Let's call it that. And then it's like the next day you're like, oh my gosh, we're not
What were we thinking? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, listen.
Anyway,
nice to meet you, David.
Nice to meet you,
David, as always, if they want more information, yubasutterarts.org.
Yep.
Easy.
Buy tickets or just see what's going on. Lots of free stuff too. You don't have to pay to play.